Hi there, my name is Brooklyn and I am going to show you how to make your very first quilt. The purpose of this video series is to show as if you just opened up your sewing machine or grandma just dropped it off and you don't know what you're doing. And that's okay, we're gonna go through it. Once you do this quilt, you're gonna be able to make so many other things. This is just such a great place to start. This is what we call a rag quilt. And it's called that because of this cute little like fringe going on right here. I'm gonna show you top to bottom everything you need to know to make one of these quilts. And it comes together super fast. You can do it all on this little machine. And then once it's done, it's so rewarding to see this blanket. This fabric is super, super soft and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's get into it. So let's first go over what supplies you're going to need to make this quilt. The first thing, and probably the funnest thing, is to get your fabrics. I have 40 squares total. You need 20 for the front, 20 for the back, and I have 5 different prints, so that's 8 of each print. And if that just became a lot of numbers, 40 squares, each one has to have a match because the front and the back are the same on this. You also need your batting. This is cut in 8.5-inch squares, and that goes with our 10-inch squares. You only need 20 pieces of batting for this. If you don't feel like cutting out your own or finding all these pieces, we have this available as a kit. So it comes to you just like this, everything's ready to go, and you can start with me here. Otherwise, you'll need to cut out your own and then meet me back at this point. You're also going to need some tools, and in the sewing world, tools are called notions. The notions that you need for this are pins, you need a heat erasable or otherwise soluble marker. This is gonna be so good in helping this turn out well. Our notions kit for the rag quilt includes a little roll of washi tape because, I'll show you why when we're cutting things up. This is a good sharp pair of fabric scissors. If you're like me, my mom and my grandma would be really mad if we use their fabric scissors for anything but fabric, and that is just because it stays sharp. These are like a spring loaded, which makes it really nice when you're trimming these edges. They're made for rag quilts. Now, a controversial topic in the sewing world is what kind of thread to use. I don't know why, but some people get like really passionate about the kinds of thread to use. But here's what you need to know. The main thing, the first thing, is the color. You need to make sure that your color coordinates with your fabrics. In this quilt especially, because we see all of these threads. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but when I'm looking at my quilt, I can see that I used a yellow thread the first time I made this. This time I'm going to use a blue. The other most important thing is you need to know the weight of the thread. So on the front here, it says it's 50 weight, and that is gonna tell you the thickness. The higher the number, the thinner the thread is. I don't recommend in quilting using anything thicker than a 40 weight. I also like to stay under 70. So again, a lot of numbers. This one is included in the notions kit. It's a 50 weight thread. And that is a good place to start for this project. 50 weight is a pretty good universal quilting thread. And all this other information is probably helpful if you know more what you're doing, but I'm looking at color and weight. Now I'm gonna show you how we're gonna start using these tools and start sewing your quilt. So I'm gonna take my first 2 pieces of fabric. These are the same pieces, or the same print. And I'm gonna try to line up the corners, and we are going to draw a diagonal line from corner to corner on both sides to make an X in the middle. This is the line that you're going to follow while you're sewing, and it's going to make it so that you have straight lines if you mark. So this pen is heat erasable, which means when I iron this, all of these marks are gonna go away. Flannel fabric is more absorbent than like a standard quilter's cotton. So you kind of have to scribble with it to make it able to see it. And I'm focusing more on the light spots to make that line because this color will kind of fall into the background of the blue and some of these darker pinks. If there's any spots that feel too light, just go back in and add some more. This is an older marker, so that's why it's not showing up super great. This is also a quilting ruler. You don't need a quilting ruler. You just need a straight edge that is at least the length of the diagonal line. Next, we need our batting square. So I opened up these two and I'm placing this batting square directly in the center of the fabric. Then I'm taking this and putting it right over the top. Now, naturally, the static in between all of these different fibers is gonna hold it together pretty well, but we wanna make sure that it's held together very, very well. Pretty good is not our goal here. And while I'm not concerned about perfection, I am concerned about doing things well, and that's what I'm gonna teach you. So you can see my pin cushion, I have all different kinds of pins, different colors and shapes and lengths. For this, I am using a really simple, sort of standard pin. It has this round head and I think it's a, 1.5 inch body. This one is pretty sturdy and bend resistant, so it's great for pinning through all of these different layers. What I'm doing is poking the pin all the way through, bringing it up underneath, and then stabbing it out the top. If you are worried about poking yourself, which happens, you can tuck that underneath that first layer and it hides the sharpness from you. So I do that sometimes, and when I don't do it, I notice. But we're just gonna pin about 2 inches in, maybe 3 inches in from our corner, and pin under each one of these lines, making sure that you still have the batting. When I get to this point, sometimes your fabric shifts. We don't want this shift to happen. So you just kind of pull on the top layer. For some reason, scratching it seems to kind of work, and grabbing it until these corners line up nicely. And then we're gonna put our pin. And that's why we do the pins, is to keep it from shifting and going crazy. So I have one square done. We're gonna need to do this 19 more times. So I'll show you one more time on this solid blue so you can see it in another color. Flannel also tends to wrinkle a little bit, and you can iron that if you want, that's fine. I'm on this one where it's just like a little bit, I'm not too worried about it. This marker might be at the end of its life. We'll see how many more I can do with it. If your marker's having a hard time, you can put the cap back on and store it cap down, and then all the ink will kind of fade back into the tip, and that preserves them for a long time. This marker's just had better days. So I'm gonna pull apart my layers now and place my batting in between. Okay, so my next square is ready, and I'm just gonna go through my whole stack and make these. If you're feeling really creative, you can do different pieces front and back, but I'm just gonna keep it consistent for this one. If your fabric is directional, as in there's a top and bottom like on these trees, make sure that you're matching the direction on front and back. So once you're done marking and pinning and prepping all of this fabric, then we will get into sewing, and that's going to be in the next video. So once you finish, go into that next one and I'll show you what to do next.